what's up everybody? Ben here from blogwithben.com, and today I'm super excited to introduce you to Gamma, a tool that has completely revolutionized the way I create presentations, websites, and documents. This platform has drastically improved how I approach these projects in terms of time, effort, and the quality of the final product. I no longer have to stress about design or layout. Gamma handles it all with AI-powered ease. And whether you're a content creator, a freelancer, or running your own business, I think you'll find this tool as game-changing as I have. And real quick, before we get started, if you get any value out of this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to the Blog with Ben YouTube channel. It helps me bring you more resources and keeps you up to date with all of the AI, web, and tech trends happening throughout the year. But either way, thank you so much for all your support. All right, with that being said, let's get started. So getting started with Gamma is super easy and free. Simply visit gamma.app, and I've linked to it in the video description below. And clicking that link will take you to the Gamma homepage. And then to get started, click the sign up for free button. And it's pretty straightforward. You can create a free account by entering an email address or continue with a Google account. But either way, once you sign up, there will be a few onboarding questions. And for the sake of the example, we're going to walk through these really quick. But if you've already filled these out and you just want to create a presentation, feel free to skip ahead and work at your own pace. Okay, so first they're asking whether you're using Gamma as a team or company or for personal use. So select the one that pertains to you. Then below that, give your workspace a name. You can always change this in your account settings later on. And then when that's filled out, click the Create Workspace button. The next step, Gamma wants to know a little bit about you and how you plan to use Gamma to help craft your experience. So select how you plan to use Gamma for work, school, or personal use. And then depending on what you select, there may be some more questions. And since I selected work, they want to know what type of work I do and how I heard about Gamma. So I'll fill these out really quick. And then when you're ready, click the Get Started button. And then next you have a few options in terms of how you can create with Gamma and their AI. You can paste in text. This lets you create from notes, an outline, or existing content. For example, you could work on an outline in ChatGPT and then paste it in here. Next is generate, and this is the most popular and is what we'll be using in this tutorial. And this lets you create from a one-line prompt. Gamma will then walk you through the generation process and their AI will give you the first draft. And then finally, you can import a file or URL. This lets you pull in an existing document or slide deck. Okay, like I said, for this example, we'll be using generate. So click that middle option to continue. And next you'll go through a few steps to initiate what you're going to create. So first you'll want to select what it is exactly that you want to create with Gamma's AI. You can create a presentation, a website, or a document. And for this tutorial, we'll be creating a presentation. However, I plan to make additional videos on creating websites and documents with Gamma, so keep an eye out for those. But again, I'm creating a presentation for now, so I'll leave that one selected. And below that, in the field provided, you'll describe what you'd want to make. And this is essentially a simple prompt to tell the AI what you want your presentation to be about. You can also set the number of cards, which are like slides in a slide deck, and the language of your presentation. Then if you're having some writer's block, they even have some example prompts to get you started. Simply click any of these or that shuffle button there towards the bottom, and you can get your feet wet with how Gamma works with some different topics. But for this example, I know what I want my presentation to be about, so in that field, describe what you want to make. So I'm creating a presentation on how to start a WordPress.org blog. Then real quick, just to show you what's available, by default it starts you with 8 cards, but if you click that drop down, you can go all the way up to 10 cards with the free account or down to 1 card. And then if you upgrade to a plus plan, you can do 15 cards. And then with the Pro plan, my menu got cut off on the screen. I apologize about that. But with the Pro plan, you could do 20, 25, or 30 cards. Then as I mentioned earlier, you could set the language as well. By default, it's English, but you could change the language here if you'd like. All right, I think I'm ready. So let's move on to the next step and create our outline. So click the Generate Outline button. And the AI gets to work and creates an outline based on the topic I told it to create a presentation about. And as you can see here, we have the prompt followed by an outline of the presentation on how to create a WordPress.org blog. And it's numbered 1 through 8 because I wanted my presentation to have 8 cards. And then each card has a main topic associated with it. And you can edit this outline, which I'll show you how to do in just a bit. And then below the outline, there are some settings that we'll go over in a few minutes as well. Okay, so looking at the outline, one really cool feature here is that you can edit the topics of each card right here in the outline. Just place your cursor there and start typing. You can also delete the cards within the outline here by clicking the trash can icon if you need to. And then you could also add cards by clicking either one of those icons. You can also rearrange the cards by dragging and dropping them in different order if you'd like by clicking these little dots next to each number within the outline. And then let's move on to the settings. This is where you can configure the amount of text per card as well as the image source, style, and model. So starting with the text per card, you have the option to go brief, medium, or detailed. And depending on your requirements, like the subject matter and maybe even your audience, this may vary, but from my experience, medium is a good amount of text for a typical presentation at work. So I'm gonna keep it set to medium. Then below that, and this is really cool, you can determine the image source for the images that are used in the cards for the presentation. And there are 3 to choose from. Auto, this basically auto-generates images for you. Web, this lets you search the web for images to add. And then AI images, and this is what I'm going to use, and it lets you use generative AI to create unique and professional images for each slide. So I'll keep that option selected. Then below that, since I'm using AI images, you'll want to describe the colors, style, or mood that the AI should use to guide the image generation. So for this example, I'm just going to say light blue, white, and black color scheme. Then below that, you'll set the image model for the AI. And by default, it's set to Flux Fast, which is the only one I've used so far, but it's been really fast and has given me some great results. But there are some models that you could experiment with here if you'd like. And keep in mind that some of these models are only available for Pro plans, just FYI. Then if you look towards the very bottom there, you'll see an advanced mode option. If you click that little gear icon, this gives you kind of like a behind the curtain look at the prompt editor. Starting with the settings, along with the settings we just configured, here you can really drill down who you want the AI to write for and what tone it should use whenever writing. Then there's also our outline where it's set to be card by card, but you could change it to freeform there at the top. This just lets the AI divide the cards into a different format. I personally like the card by card setting, so I'll leave it as is. And then we have some pro tips to help you get the most out of Gamma. Pretty cool. All right, so whenever you're done configuring the settings, click the continue button and keep in mind how many credits you have. I don't think we covered this yet, but each generation costs credits, which will display on the button. This will be 40 credits, and then you can monitor your total credits in the bottom left corner of the screen. Next, you'll get to pick a theme. And this is basically the overall design of your presentation. And on the right-hand side, you can browse their pre-made templates. And then whatever you have selected, you'll get a little preview of it on the left-hand side. And there are a ton of templates to choose from. Each has its own look and feel. And again, depending on your subject matter or your audience, your theme may vary. But regardless, once you choose a theme, and I think I'm gonna go with this one, click the generate button. And this is when the magic happens. The AI goes to work, and it may take a few seconds to load. Just sit tight really quick. And check that out. What normally would have taken me hours to do is done in seconds. That's crazy. And this also introduces you to Gamma's presentation editor. So on that note, let me give you a quick tour of the editor before we start making changes. So I know I said that I was going to give you a tour, but Gamma actually has their own guided tour that you could check out by clicking this button. And I don't normally show these types of tours in my video, but Gamma did a really good job with theirs. So let's go through it really quick and begin the tour. Okay, first, this is the widget toolbar. This lets you insert content into each card, just like you're building a website. It truly is a huge time saver, and you could add images, text, videos, different layouts, and even use AI. That icon at the top of the toolbar lets you access the built-in AI editing to help you craft content. And use the AI to generate cards, you can add images, refine content, and more. Next is the slash menu, and we'll use this in just a bit, but if you type a / anywhere, you can add text within a card. It'll open a content menu where you can quickly insert different types of content blocks within that card. It's pretty cool and a really innovative feature. Okay, next, this little toolbar in between each card lets you add cards to the presentation by clicking the plus icon. The sparkles icon lets you add an AI generated card, and then the drop down lets you browse pre-made card templates. Moving towards the left-hand side of the screen, we have what Gamma calls the film strip, and this is like a visual of all the cards in the presentation and allows you to easily navigate between cards, reorder them, add new cards, duplicate them, and more. Next, if you look at the toolbar in the upper right corner, there is a theme option. This lets you create a theme to sync your presentation with, so you can sync it with your brand. This comes in handy if you have specific brand guidelines that you gotta adhere to. Next to that is the share option, and opening this lets you share the presentation with others or export it to a PDF or PowerPoint. Next to that is the present button, and you'll click this whenever you're ready to present to your audience. We'll go through this in just a bit, but the arrow button lets you move through cards, and the escape button lets you exit out of the present mode. Okay, moving to the card itself, there is an edit with AI button, and as I mentioned earlier, you can edit each card to your liking, but if you click this button, you can harness the power of AI to refine your card, add cards, find images, and so much more. This is a super powerful feature that I use quite a bit. All right, that's it for this quick tour. If you ever want to go through it again or you need a refresher, just click this question mark icon in the bottom right corner of the screen and you can take the tour again. Okay, so I love that tour, but there are a few more things I want to show you before we present. So scrolling down, each one of these cards is customizable right here in the editor. And I come from the world of WordPress, and I love that each card is like a WordPress block. All you have to do is place your cursor within that card and start making your changes. And on a side note, I'm just blown away at how much time this tool has saved me. I literally used to spend days creating my slides for my YouTube tutorials, but Gamma did this in a few seconds. That is crazy. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you is if you hover your mouse over a card in the upper left corner, some other icons will appear. First, these three dots, you can use it to drag a card and move it, or if you click on it, that opens another toolbar with even more options. You can duplicate the card, copy the card link, export the card, or even delete it. Next to that is this little painter's palette icon, and clicking this opens a little window where you can configure the style of the card. You can change the image location, card color, content alignment, etc. Next to that is the edit with AI feature, and we briefly covered this in the tour, but clicking this gives you the ability to edit the card with AI. As you can see, they break it down into two sections, writing and layout, but this lets you use AI to edit or improve upon different areas of each card. Now keep in mind that each one of these features costs 5 tokens, and you could also chat with AI by clicking that button towards the bottom there. Then really quick, if you want to manually make changes to your cards, you could do so by placing your cursor within the text and simply start typing. Like I said, this reminded me of the user experience when I edit websites in WordPress, so this was super easy to figure out and makes it so that even novice techies can figure this out. Then this card has an author section. This is pulled from your account settings, so if you need to change this, you'll need to update the display name in the account settings or just delete it from the card if someone else is presenting. Moving over to the image, again, this was generated by AI. How cool is that? And I love it too, by the way. But if you need to make any changes to it, simply hover your mouse over the image and click it once, and then you'll get this little toolbar. This lets you change the focus point, remove the image, fit the image, edit the accent image, or even delete it. But if you double click on the image, you can open the media settings and reconfigure the AI if you need to. Again, giving you even more control over the style of each card, but I love this image, so I'm gonna keep it as is. Okay, next, if you hover your mouse in between each card, you get the add card feature that we covered in the tour. The plus icon lets you add a blank card. The sparkles icon lets you add a card with AI. And then the arrow opens a template library where you can essentially pick a pre-made template to insert and begin editing. All right, another thing I wanted to show you is the slash menu feature. Remember, if you place your cursor within a card and type a /, this will open the slash menu where you can quickly add things like headings, text, lists, and even emojis. Again, helping you streamline the creation process and making you much more efficient. And I think I'm gonna add a little computer emoji. Perfect. And then for the sake of time, I'm not going to edit any more of the cards within this presentation, but hopefully you're starting to see how easy it is to use Gamma's editor when editing the templates for your presentations. Now, the next thing to do is present. But before we do, there is one more thing I want to show you, and that is the notes feature. So if you hover your mouse over a card in the upper right corner, there's a notepad icon, and clicking on that lets you add notes to that card that only the presenter can see. This can come in handy if you need to remember key points without overcrowding the slides. Notes can also help you stay organized and maintain a smooth flow during your presentation. Okay, so I think that's going to do it for this presentation. The only thing left to do is present it. So whenever you're ready to shine and bust this out to your audience, you have a few options. If you click that arrow next to the present button, you'll get a drop-down menu with some options on how to present. You can use the presenter view. This opens two tabs and allows you to view the notes that we just went over while you're presenting. Or you can opt to have it open in this tab or full screen. Then there's even a share a follow link option, and this allows you to create a link to the presentation, and then anyone with that link will get view access to this Gamma presentation and automatically start following your presentation in the page where they open it. Pretty cool if you're presenting remotely. All right, so for this example, I'm going to use the presenter mode so you can see the notes. So I'll select that option. And again, it opens two tabs. And the first one I'm showing you is the Notes tab. This is for the presenter, obviously, and shows you your notes and the slide deck. And really quick, if you look in the upper left corner, Gamma gives you some keyboard shortcuts to use while presenting. Super helpful and will help you keep the presentation flowing. There's also a timer if you need it. Just click that play button to start it and keep track of how long you're going. Then towards the upper right, you can copy the meeting link and share it if you need to by clicking that icon. Then towards the middle there, we have our notes. If you have any notes added to a card, they will display here. Then at the very bottom is the full slide deck to help you move through the presentation and keep track of where you are. And the slide you're on will be outlined, and you can also move through the slides by clicking either one of those arrows. And I know I keep calling them slides, they also refer to them as cards. Slides, cards, same difference, but this is super helpful as you're presenting. And then moving to the other tab, this is our presentation and is what the viewer will see. Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but Gamma saves me so much time when it comes to creating these presentations. I'm no longer in the corporate world, but I wish I had this tool when I worked at my corporate job. I can't tell you how much stress presentations caused me back then, but if I had Gamma, it would have made my job so much easier. However, now as a YouTuber and digital creator, I still incorporate slides and presentations in my content, and Gamma has saved hours from my workflow and freed up a ton of time, allowing me to be more efficient. Okay, so when you're done wowing your audience with this presentation, to exit the presentation, move your mouse towards the top of the screen, and the toolbar will display, and then click that exit button, and that will take you back to the presenter view. Then the last thing I want to show you before we go, within the editor, if you click the home icon in the upper left corner, this takes you back to your account workspace dashboard where you can monitor and manage your projects, access templates, contact support, etc. Also, when you want to create a new project, just click the Create New AI button and you'll go through the exact same process that we went through in this tutorial. And one more thing before we go, if you are considering upgrading to a paid plan, which I highly recommend you do, you can do so here by clicking the View Plans link. And this gives you a breakdown of the plans available and their price. And I'm not just saying this, I was expecting this tool to be a lot more expensive, especially with everything it can do and how much time it saved me. I was expecting at least $50 per month, but for only $8 per month billed annually, you can get started with the Gamma Plus plan and open a ton of more features and tokens to use with generative AI. Then for maybe larger organizations or operations, you can opt for the Pro plan. This gives you everything that came with the Plus plan, but it has extended features and 25,000 AI tokens. So that's gonna do it for this video. If you found it helpful, I'd greatly appreciate it if you would like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Blog with Ben YouTube channel. Also, if you're thinking about starting a blog, you gotta check out my step-by-step tutorials. They'll show you everything you need to know in order to build, grow, and monetize a professional WordPress blog. And as always, your support means a great deal to me and my family, and for that, I thank you. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.